helps us. And that is what we are doing this masterclass. And believe me, you are going to learn a lot. You are going to learn a lot from this masterclass. So that is who I am. I'm the community manager here at Tublian, and we are, of course, we platform for developers that help developers discover open source projects and also contribute to them. So if you are here, you're a maintainer or you're a contributor, Tublian is for you. If you're a maintainer, just reach out to me so that we can include your project, kind of like flag it so that it always pops out first to contributors. If you're a contributor, just log into your Tublian account and discover. You can search open source projects depending on the language that you write, and you discover projects, issues, and that you can contribute to. Right? So um let's try to share this around. Also with me on the call, we have Tobiloba. Tobiloba is our DevRel person here. So hi Tobiloba, do you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, hello everyone. Uh, I'm Tubiloba, and yeah, I'm Deborah here at Tumiya. Yeah, excited to be here today and um, you know, to learn from the master herself, and get value out of this as well. So I'm excited to have all of you here as well. I see a lot of familiar faces in the meeting. So yeah, looking forward to masterclass.
All right, Toby. Hi. I'm going to call on some people because I know we're obviously not going to get everyone you know, to introduce themselves. Hi, Code and Creator. Do you mind introducing yourself? I'm trying to call those that. Yeah. Hi. All right. You're welcome. You're welcome. Um, I'd like to invite Christine. Christine, do you mind introducing yourself? Just add a little spice to this. If you're introducing yourself, tell us what you are hoping to learn from Ruth, just so that just to help her also prepare. So, hi, Christine. Do you mind introducing yourself? You can unmute yourself. Oh, okay. Christine said that she can't speak. Hi, Kenechukwu. Do you mind introducing yourself? Sorry, I'm just calling those on my screen. So if I call you, if you can, if you can't, it's fine. Hi, Kenneth. All right. So, hi, Daniel. Are you there? I'm seeing a lot of people are.
Yeah, I can. I am
Uh,
there.
yeah. Do you mind introducing yourself?
This is Daniel Wasabara. I'm a mobile developer and a backend engineer. I started contributing to open source last year, but then I want to see how more I can contribute and in what ways, other than just writing codes. So,
Oh, all right. You're welcome. You're welcome. So I think we have. Hi, Pastora. Hi, Pastora. Good afternoon. It's afternoon my time though. Do you mind introducing yourself? Hi, Pastora. Do you mind introducing yourself? You mind unmuting your mic to introduce yourself. I think that's the right thing to say. All right. Okay. So we have just 2 minutes remaining for us to get more introductions. So if you are here, you want to introduce yourself, just use the hand signal, and then I'm going to just raise your hand, and I'm going to invite you to speak. But while at while at it, our senior orga, our front end dev, our lead developer here joined the call. So I would like to call him to introduce himself. Hi, Josh.
Hello, good day. Hi, everyone. Happy to be here. So, my name is Josh. I'm the front end lead for Tublian. Um, I stay in Anambra. How's everyone?
All right. You're welcome, Josh. You're welcome. All right.
Thank you.
So, um, I'm going to leave. I want us to start now. Okay. Hi, Linus. Hi, Linus. You have just 1 minute to do that because we want to start by 3:10 on the
Che-
dot.
Gente, aqui que é o grupo de oração? Alô, alguém? Aqui é o grupo de oração. Minha amiga mandou esse link. Gente do céu, esse povo não fala. Ai, só eu consegui a voz de novo, que nem
Okay. Sorry about that. Um, sorry about that. So sorry about that. All right. So, this is where I'm turning on my camera once again. So today's masterclass, like I said, is fully packed, and then we are trying to. The goal is for us to get into, if you're already a contributor, to find out more ways you can contribute to open source, and then if you are a maintainer, to also learn more ways, just for us to learn about open source generally. Ruth is someone I've looked up to for a very long time. I even made this tweet one time and say, "Oh, I want to start working like Ruth," and then later on, that was like months before we met. And then she's an amazing person. I followed her for a long time, and I'm really happy that she's here and we're going to learn from her. She's our boss at the top, so I'm going to let her introduce herself. Because I don't believe that if I introduce her, I'm going to do justice to it. So, hi, Ruth. So, guys, with your emoji, I want you guys to, you know, drop. I want to see a lot of emojis. Anyone you like, just react as we welcome Ruth to the stage. Hi, Ruth. Over to you, boss.
Hi everyone. Sorry, I'm not able to put on my video today. The network has been really bad, so pardon me. So it's nice to be here. I know um I have connected with Tublian for I think that was last year. When they had their program, and thank you Precious for inviting me to talk about open source. I did not really prepare so much, like in terms of like a proper slide. I'm just going to be using an old slide, but I would talk more about, like, shed more light on some new things that I've discovered, um, with contributing to open source. Can you hear me? I think I was muted at some point.
Yeah, we
Let me
can hear you.
share my screen. Um, mm, now I don't know what screen I'm sharing. Okay. Let me see. Let me know what you can see. Can you see the
Yes, we are seeing the Canva
okay,
page. Yeah,
very
Canva screen. Yeah.
okay, great. Okay. So yeah, I want to give kind of like and I'm going to mostly be using my experience, right? Talking about my personal experience, because I think well, you all are already in Tublian, so you um know a bit about like open source, right? And I want you to hear from my personal experience on why I think that contributing really matters, and how it kind of helps you with your career path in tech, or even though you're not even in tech, right? So yeah, and then if you have questions, I think it should be an interactive session as well. So if you have questions, as I'm going to be posting out some points in case anybody has any questions, so that we can, or if you see something that you need to ask a question around, you can raise your hand, I think, and Precious will let me know, and then I can answer the question. So who am I? I'm an open source program manager. In the past, I've also done technical writing. I've done technical writing as a full-time job. I still do a bit of technical writing in my free time. I'm also one of the GitHub stars here in Nigeria.
Hi, Ruth. I think you are muted again.
I think it automatically mutes me. I don't know because I'm not pressing anything that.
Yeah, so the last thing we heard was that you get one of the GitHub stars in Nigeria.
No, I'm not. I'm not using any headset, so you shouldn't. Yeah. So sorry about that too. So yeah, so I'm one of the GitHub stars here in Nigeria, and GitHub stars are people that have been recognized by GitHub that inspire and influence their local region. So it's has been mostly my open source contributions that led me there. Yeah, so that's a bit about me. I do open source work like full time, right? So it's like my full time job. Um, I'm working in open source full time in different communities, open source communities, both in Africa and global communities as well. Um, I might not spend so much time here because, like I said, people here already like you being in Tublian communities already like you should know what open source is, but you know, to just maybe give a little bit of background to like what's when you hear open source software, it's usually it has to be publicly available code, and then with a license. Like I said, this is quite an old slide. I was supposed to edit some things, but I didn't quite catch the time. But yeah, so it's always the code is publicly available, and it doesn't just end there, right? Because then if you look at GitHub, sometimes you see like there are people that build in public, but it's because it's open, like because the code you can see doesn't mean it's open source, doesn't tick it as open source, but it's also that it should have like a particular license, and then there are different open source licenses, and you should be able to redistribute that project, either
Sorry, you're muted again.
Oh, I think someone is actually muting it. It's muting me. It shows Valenti. I don't know. Valenti. I don't know who the person is, but it
What?
pops up.
Not me.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I'm going to look at. So sorry, you can continue now.
And then I think that
Wait, sorry. I think
just a comment. If somebody shared the Meet link outside of Clubhouse,
yeah,
Yeah, I think someone probably did that. So
yeah.
try
I
to control these things.
they did. So I think it was overreading.
All right.
Okay. So hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, hopefully. So sorry. Continue.
Wow.
All right. So yeah, so that's the entirety of like what open source software is, right? You know, publicly available code with a license, and you have permissions to make edits. You have permissions to contribute to the code, also redistribute the code as you seem fit. So that's what open source refers to, like software refers to, or an open source project. I think this definition is really important because even as you choose what to spend your time under, it's not just for knowing its sake, but it's something that's important because when you're choosing projects to be part of, like um you need to understanding this definition kind of helps you decide whether you want to
Hi, Ruth. You have to check again. Hi, I think you're muted again, Ruth. All right. Okay. Yeah, I think it's fine now. Sorry, I was trying to control something. Sorry, it's from me.
Okay, I think I can speak now.
Yeah. So sorry, I was trying to control something. I think someone shared the meeting link outside here, so we have a lot of things happening. So sorry.
All right, no worries. It happens. No problem. It's fine. Okay, so yeah. Aside from also understanding the definition, right? Another thing is that um you should also, there are some things, when like I said, I'm going to be talking more of my experience. you know there are some things that people think is like it's a misconception with open source. When people contribute to open source, I've heard people you know talk about it a couple of times, or why they don't contribute. Some people think that open source is just about code contributions. You cannot make other kinds of contributions to open source. Some people think, okay, only people that are software engineers, very experienced software engineers can make contributions to open source. Some people feel, okay, why should I be spending my time for free? And then some people also think that people that same thing, like people that are non-technical cannot contribute. So all these things are just things that people think happens, but like in reality, everybody's welcome to contribute to open source. Like, so if you have any ideology like this, I would love to like tell you that that's not the usual flow, or that's not really what happens. And like different people can contribute. There are different ways you can contribute. I will highlight some of those ways in my talk. So yeah, there are different ways you can contribute to open source. So more of like why, I think, going into deep into like why open source contributions. Why should you spend your time? Why should you give your time to open source? I started contributing I around the time I started was during the pandemic year, when I was just getting started in tech first, and I was still learning Python. So one of the things that open source have helped me so far was to not even just improve technical skills, but even grow some technical skills. I'll give you an example of me moving, like transitioning into like program management, right? When I was I my job then, in when I got the job, the first job I had was in 2021 as a technical writer, right? It wasn't for like in the agency wasn't open source. They didn't really care about open source, right? It was just an agency, but I really saw it that I think I was tried, like my growth pattern was rooted in open source. So like I needed to go back into that field, into contributing more of my time. And then I started doing program management, and literally it was through the community that I contributed to, or that I still contribute to, that I learned how to program manage stuff, like how to actually build that skill of program management, right? So it's not just even improving how open source has improved my skill, but it also has given me the 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 time to also um contribute to other projects, right? And like build a skill set, right? For myself. And also the point where you can literally do it, and like most of the time, because there are different people contributing, everybody's idea is really welcome. You can think of something like that you want to do and share it to the community, and because all contributions are welcome, you can turn that into a reality. You can improve your favorite open source projects, right? You can bring in ideas that people will work on, right? And everything is really, it just sometimes it depends on the community, it can go through different review processes, but at the end of the day, you get to turn that into life. When I started open source, I started doing like I was more helping like op- um onboard people into like I do workshops for people to get started in open source, make their first contributions. And today I am running programs that are helping people do that, right? Like at scale, I'm running programs that are helping people all around Africa through All in Africa initiative. So that was like an idea that I had in the initial period I started contributing to open source. But over the years, you see how that has actualized, even with the communities that I found myself in. So that's also another really good impact it has on you and your career. Um, Also, when I started contributing to, I'm going to share this slide. I'm going to share a copy of this slide. But like this is, I linked a copy of my resume when I was applying for a job, right? It was mostly filled with all my open source contributions, right? So you contributing to a community to open source is not a joke. It's not something that it's something you can put in your resume, right? Your portfolio, like these are the projects I am building, these are the projects I am contributing, these are these things that I'm doing here. So that's what actually made up my resume, right? And I was able to get a job because most of the time you need that experience. The recruiters will definitely ask you for that experience, and like as you're making these contributions, you're making positive impact in communities. You're contributing to things that people are using in their that they are depending on the project that you are part of. So that's also like a good way to build your public portfolio, right? And um yeah, it's also valuable things that you can talk about during interviews. Like I can remember like when I'll do those interviews, I'll talk about how I'm writing, documentation for the different communities that I'm part of, right? I'll talk about what those documentation, how that documentation has helped people get started in the community, how the performance of that, what I have written, right? So talking about those different things, helps build up, like tell the recruiter that if this person doesn't necessarily have like a corporate job, but like they're doing things that are really beneficial to people, and that's what they want. Like they want you to be beneficial to their company, right? So it gives you a higher chance. So yes, the contributions they're making, they're not just like jokes, but like they are actually real life. You're building experiences that you can share and put in your resume if you did not know that. So there's also, the remote work experience. You're working with, different people, different time zones. I know there was a time when I started, I didn't really understand. Forgive me for saying that. I didn't really understand the concept of time zones then. All right, or maybe I knew about that time zones were different, right? But not in the extent of I had not worked with people that were based in the US or like So I was beginning to understand what remote work actually means, and somehow we're in COVID to like everybody was working remotely, sure, but like it doesn't really say that. But the important thing, the message I'm trying to pass here was like it started building me up for that remote work experience, and then collaborating with people across different time zones, and you know making things work, still delivering regardless of like the time zone barriers, right? So like it was prepping me for that remote work experience live. I As I was contributing to these different organizations and communities, I was also expanding my network and collaborating with different people, right? So in open source communities, you see different people. Sometimes people from different companies that you even want to be part of are attending those meetings. They are contributing to that project, and you get to talk with them. Sometimes you even get to work with them because like if you get assigned to something, or maybe they're reviewing your code or doing stuff, right? So you're also working with them, right? You're building your network, you're improving. They are seeing the work that you're doing in the community, really, because sometimes even when you do not even broadcast what you're doing open source, like people that are part of that community, they see what you're doing, they know who you are, and when opportunities rise up, usually there to say, okay, I know this person has been contributing to this community and has been here. This is the right person for this. And sometimes it even gets you job opportunities, because I can say as well that I have gotten from being in a community, and the company was a major player in that community, and they saw that, okay, this person is good, a good candidate for this role. They were able to like hire me there, like, okay, come do this work for us, because we know, we've seen your work, we know what you can do, right? It wasn't really a stressful process for me. So that's also something that open source can give to you. It's beyond just the mere contributions you're making. And also there's also, I think maybe I would like to even add the positive impact and social impact it brings, right? It goes beyond just adding. Sometimes some people think that because I just fixed this bug, or because I just made a change to this thing, it doesn't really count. What does it help with in the grand scheme of things? But I'll tell you that that bug that you might just think is a minor thing, it is preventing somebody else from using the software. Imagine contributing to a project. So let me paint a picture for you, so to be probably more clearer. Like, you're contributing to a project that's maybe a medical equipment depends on, right? Like, a medical equipment depends on that project to work, to function. Now, there's a particular bug in that project that is making the whole project shut down or something, right? Or making the experience, giving it a poor experience. Now, because that medical equipment kind of like depends on that project, if that project shuts down, that whoever is using that medical equipment at the time is not able to use it again. So like, there's sometimes you think of your changes or the things you contribute to a community as minute, but like, in the grand scheme of things, they're actually big, because it's making impact on people that you might not even know they exist, right? So there's also that positive impact that open source gets to help you achieve, and also then paid opportunities as well. Like, there are a lot of internships out there, and even more are coming in, like internships to help you get started, kickstart your career. There's Outreachy, there's Google Summer of Code, there's Google Season of Docs, there's even LFX. I think MLH fellowships have an internship as well. There are also, paid people that are sponsoring open source developers now, like their GitHub, through GitHub sponsors. There's even Open Collective that you can set up like for your project. There are, grants and funding that are being made available for people to work on open source. There are full-time open source careers as well. So they're like also paid opportunities in working, like contributing to open source. So I kind of whipped up this particular slide when somebody made a comment about what kind of contributions. I was just editing it immediately, but I think it was something I wanted to just add, that there are different ways to contribute. Right, the list is really endless, honestly, because like, there are a lot of ways to give value to a project. It can be through writing code, it can be documentation, it can be doing program, even facilitating meetings like this. I'm so sure, like, Precious is the community manager, but then there are maybe some other people that might be contributing in terms of community. So facilitating meetings like this is also like a valid contribution. Reporting bugs, even opening issues and tickets. Like, you say that, okay, this project is not really functioning the way it should. Maybe something that I might be able to report and somebody might catch it, right? Fix it rather. Giving money to the project is also good. There are like different contributions you can make. It's just more about like what value, what does this project value, or how do I even tweeting about the project, even like bringing people to telling people that this project exists, use it. It's a way to contribute. So there are different ways to contribute, and it's not just code. And all these different ways to contribute, there are things that you can talk about. It's not just your code contributions that you can talk about, right? So there are different things that you can talk about when you're contributing to open source. um yeah, so how do you get started? One is, you even being here, is you already have the zeal and the the being in the community. And Tublian is a good way to find open source projects. They have a very good platform that you can use to helps with project discoverability. So you can keep looking for projects that even fit your stack, your and how you deem to contribute, right? You can find those projects and don't just end there. You can join their communities, especially when they have communities, because most of the time, if you're contributing from the outside, you might not get enough as much value as you would want to. So usually I would recommend that you join the community, try to understand what is going on, read about what the project is doing, check out the contributing guide, check out like the things that they need, and collaborate with others, ask questions when you join communities like this, because it takes some time sometimes to. I think that's one of the things that new contributors miss out a lot. Like it's not just I joined this community, I must start contributing today. It can take, so take your time really, because I'm also why you want to give value to the project. Look at what value the project can give to you. So take your time to learn about the project and um, contribute, collaborate with other people to make to grow better. Think of meaningful contributions, and not just okay, I just want to give a pull request. Think of other things that you can do. Ask the maintainers, what is of priority to you, what do you need, right? Just after the quality of the things you're doing, and not how many pull requests. Or having a number of pull requests to do is good, don't get me wrong, but also try to give try to think more about quality when you're contributing to these um projects. So yeah, that's and then some communities or resources that here. Toblan, like I said, Toblan is really one of the best out there. You can join Chaos Africa community, or even the Chaos Project. The Linux Foundation have like a lot of other projects as well. You can check out Ovio. I'm not sure how active Ovio is anymore. Open Source Friday. It's like kind of like a website. Code Triage. All these are kind of websites where you can find different ways to contribute. And yeah, so I'd really want you to start contributing to open source. It's really impactful. There's a lot more benefits you can get. I just outlined the ones that I feel that are most like that I have seen happen. There are a lot more benefits that you can get. So yeah, I don't know if there are questions.
Wow, wow. Thank you very much, Ruth. This is really insightful. It's really insightful. Like, I know most people talk about quantity when it gets to open source. They talk about, oh, how many projects have you contributed to? But now, you said something about quality, and it really caught me. And then also sometimes we are all, when it comes to open source, we are all focused on how do we contribute to this project, and not even thinking of, oh, how can this project also benefit me who is contributing to this project. So thank you very much. Thank you very much um for doing this. So I don't know, does anyone have any question? So this is where we take question. If you have any question, so I think there's a question in the comment section. So Imade is saying, how can aspiring product managers contribute to open source? So hi Ruth, do you want to take that?
Yeah. So I think usually I get that question a lot, like where people ask how can technical writers contribute, or how can this, just the way what do you do as a product manager, right? You you know manage the life cycle of a product. Maybe that's my That's my summary definition. Open source software, see it as their product as well, right? Usually, in real sense, maintainers, there is many maintainers that do all the work of like checking, okay, where are we, what stage are we in, what do we need to prioritize, all those things. They do all those work, right? So you coming into a community as a product manager, what are the projects out there or the software or the products in the community that you can help the maintainer kind of plan, use your skill sets. It's just using what you have in like to contribute to the community. So it's I don't know if that kind of answers the question, but sometimes when you join these communities, they might not even know what's how they need a product manager, but you being there, when you assess things, you know that okay, this project needs something, like we need better structure, because that's something sometimes a lot of open source communities lack. People are just doing things, doing it. Sometimes there's no structure, the maintainer is the only one figuring out a lot of things, but they need help, but sometimes they don't know how to ask for help. So yeah, I think that's how I'll answer that. I don't know if I answered it.
Yeah, so I think thank you very much. I think you answered that. So Image, if you feel like she didn't answer well, you can also like drop like a follow-up question in the comment section. So I think Singer Rofora asked, how can we find open source that is for beginners? So yeah. So Ruth.
Yeah, so you can check out first timers only. Um, for begin A lot of projects now they usually use like some labels, good first issue to help people that are beginners get started. You can check out first timers only websites. You can see some projects there, but mainly when you join the project, just look out for low lift issues that are not um very very technical, and get started with them. But yeah.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to ask also that um Image, thank you very much. Sorry. So I don't think I'm good with pronouncing people's name. I think I'm very bad at that. So okay. So on discovering open source projects for beginners also, I want to add that when you go on your Tublian page and go to projects, you can actually like search for projects with open source. So um we have this thing on tublian.com where you can contribute to open source like in 10 minutes. So if you are looking for how to make your first contribution, you know how they say that the first time is always the hardest, right? So if you are looking for how to make your first open source contribution, just go on Tublian. We have this process. I'm trying to drop the link, you know. You can contribute to your first issue in 10 minutes. That's like it's very fast, you know. And then on Tublian also you can discover projects also that can sorry, I'm trying to copy a link. Okay, I have it now. Yes. So if you have a Tublian account, just click on that link and you can make your first contribution in 10 minutes. It's very simple. And then if you want to find beginner friendly projects, you can easily search for beginner friendly projects on Tublian. Though automatically Tublian assesses your skill level, and then your the what like the language you write, you code on, and a lot of details from analyzing your GitHub. So we analyze your GitHub activities, the ones that are public, and then from there we suggest open source projects to you. So once you go in on your dashboard, you start seeing projects that are related to the skill that you have, or even the ones that you are interested in. So you see the issue, just click, look at the issues. There's even an AI to analyze the issue for you, and then you just contribute. So I don't know if there's any other question. I'm trying to look at the comments, the chat box to know if there's any other question. Oh yeah, thank you, Ruth, for dropping the link to your slide. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think I also need this for myself. So I don't know if there's any other question, but for me, I have a question also. So I have a question. All right. So my question is, so what if I want to start my own open source project? Like, what and what do I? Is there like a checklist of what I'm supposed to do or what I'm supposed to? So I have this idea where, some engage. This idea I have, and I want to make it open source because I don't think I have the complete ideas. I also want other people to contribute. So how do I go about, kick starting my own open source project?
Okay, your question is how to start your own open source project, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, main things is so you need like looking at that definition of what open source software is. You need what's the we let me even be more, maybe it can be more specific. Is it something that would be on GitHub? Is it like a program or a software?
Yeah, like something that will be on GitHub. So the
So
thing is, I'm a community manager, and I know a lot of community managers struggle with things like tools and
mhm.
like strategy on how to. So I want to get these
But
things,
like
but I know I have just, yeah, like an
like
open
a
source.
resource, I think all this also awesome list of things. I think I see them sometimes. So yeah, you can open the repo first, really, and then choosing the license. It can be an MIT license, and licenses are like permissive and copyleft license. So permissive license is that anybody can take it, and um it's not really, there's no restrictions to how you can use it. So just choose the kind of license and start building up the resource that you want to do. I think it's a resource, kind of a resource hub that you want to do. So that's how you can go about it. If you want to welcome contributions, add the contributing guide, indicate how people can contribute to that your project, right? Add a code of conduct. So yeah, so those are things: license, the code of conduct, the community contributing guide. Um, I'm guessing the project is just going to be, though how you don't need a community around it. It's just something you want to put out as your resource hub. So those are the that you should think about.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I don't know. Is there any other question? I'm looking at the comment section. I think Olabode said that he also think that we, I don't know if he or she, that we can contribute to open source that we can contribute to open source by basically just using the project you find.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Ruth, do you want to talk more on that?
Yeah, I think Olapode is
Oh,
raising his hand.
oh,
Maybe.
oh yeah, Olabode. Yeah, go on, Olabode.
All right, great stuff. Let me just say thank you very much for putting this session together. First, I think it's great, and thank you very much for actually honoring us with the presence, Ruth. So the reason why I just raised up my hand was because that statement is incomplete. I didn't realize I sent it. That was a mistake. So the thing I said is I also think you can actually contribute to open source by basically just using the project in cases where you couldn't find like a good first issue on the project. When you do find that project, right? The reason why I said that is I want to sort of like quote a saying from a friend of ours, Brian Douglas. He would always say that there really isn't exactly a good first issue. He said a good first issue is that issue that you create by yourself. And the only way you can discover an issue is if you use a certain project. And the first certain way you can sort of like discover and the potential of contributing to a project is if you use the project, it's always like the unspoken prerequisite of contributing to open source. So if you do use the project, the first thing you can do in regards to using a project is to just kind of like run the project locally. it means you should sort of follow the steps that the documentation, that's the README, provides you to sort of like run the project locally. If you are able to follow that step and replicate the step, like spin up the local development server for yourself just using the step, that helps you sort of like achieve that feat of using the project. It means you have exactly an idea of how to run that project. And the other means is if you were not exactly able to spin up that development server, that would give you that opportunity to be able to create an issue stating that you were not exactly able to follow the step to create that development, the local development environment for yourself. And that issue that you create obviously is a contribution to open source. It gives you the green square, since the green square is what most people are usually looking for when they contribute to open source, right? So it gives you that, and it also sort of like help you improve on the documentation. If the documentation is something that isn't exactly clear enough for you to be able to create a development server, the issue you create sort of like warns, or should I say signals, to the project maintainers and contributors to let them know that the the documentation is not like cake enough, and they need to sort of like rebake it and redo it into something that sort of like makes sense. And if you do this, if you did do this, it also sort of like opens that opportunity for you to be one of those people who are also able to contribute to the project outside of code, in the sense that if you're able to sort of spin up that local development server by yourself, if there is at any point in time somebody who comes and wants to sort of create this local development server by themselves too, but they're not exactly able to do it. Maybe the doc is good enough because it was able to help you do it, but the doc wasn't good enough for that person because the person just couldn't follow it. You can obviously be able to support that person through the issue the person creates, and that way you can obviously help that person spin up that server, and you just closed an issue, helping that person solve a problem, and you just close an issue as complete. And that's no green square, but it's also a contribution to open source. So it's just really great about this. And most of this stuff is the kind of stuff you would obviously like learn when you join communities, obviously. And I'm from the open sourced community. That's the reason why I kind of like I'm able to sort of borrow the quotes from Brian Douglas, and that's just how it is. I think I've talked too much. Thank you very much anyway.
Thank you very much, Olabode, for thank you very much for that explanation. Thank you very much. Yeah. So yeah, I think someone dropped the link to some of the things that have been talked about on the comment section. I think there's already like a pool of resources here, so there's already like a pool of resources in the comment section. So you might want to check it out. So hi Kudan creator, you can unmute your mic and say.
Yeah, like you mean like the project that you found, it doesn't have like the stack that you use, right? So it's like, mhm. Yeah, like I think when I give like when I talked about the impact like that open source has to your career, I think I kind of like hinted that it helps you grow even new skills. So that's some if it's something that you're really interested in, so why not, right? I'm really of the opinion that like tech is something that we keep learning, we keep expanding our knowledge, right? So you can always, if it's in your vision plan to like learn those or be use those kind of languages, I think it's something you can do. It's just preference, right? So I don't know if that helps or answers your question. Mm-hmm. Sure.
All right. Yeah, so sometimes you might open. I think I got that a lot. So sometimes you open a project and then you are not familiar with, they'll tell you that okay, for you to contribute to this project, all you need to do is JavaScript, but you notice that on the hood they're using a lot of Python, they're probably using TypeScript and some other things, and then you might not be able to. So sometimes you might even have to just go look for a particular issue on that project that has to do with just JavaScript and contribute that and go your way, right? So, but just like Ruth also said, if you want to, if you're really interested in that particular project, you should go out of your way to um, check out, learn all those, pick up all those other languages so that you can be able to run it and experience the full project, just like I think Olabode said initially. So you can be able to experience the full project, because from experiencing the project, using the project yourself, you also get to see issues that you can contribute to, and I think it's more beautiful that way, when you're contributing based on the problems that you have. Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to, I don't think there's any other question. Thank you everyone for joining this session. Yeah, one last thing. I would like everyone to check out Tublian. I dropped the link on the comment section. So everyone should check out tublian.com. We are basically just helping you to contribute to open source easily. So on our platform, we are aggregating open source issues, and then you just come on our platform. We have different projects. You discover projects that you can contribute to, you discover issues on those projects, and we have AI that help to break it down for you step by step how you can be able to contribute to any particular issue, any particular open source issue that you discover. So the AI breaks it down for you. So which also solves the question that Coda asks also. So this particular issue, now how do I go about solving this particular issue? So the AI also helps you to break it down so that you can learn that, right? So, but beyond that, we have like very other exciting things that you can do on Tublian. We have the street cred, we have the job scope pilot, which helps you to apply for jobs, helps you write cover letter, and even help you to connect with people that work in that company already on LinkedIn, right? So we have the job co-pilot, we have the we have street cred, and most importantly, next week we are launching two very important features. So if you are here, you want to join our beta testers, we have these two new features that we are launching. So now we remember that we have coder and creator mentioned something about running the server locally on your system, and then sometimes even your local machine might not be able to. You may even need some things. Maybe your local machine does not even have the capacity to run that particular project. So we are spinning up code spaces. I really wish dev that worked on that is here, I would have invited her to come and talk more about it. So we are working on code spaces. So what we are looking at is, oh, okay, people are having issues contributing to some project because they can't even run it locally, or maybe their device is not strong enough for them to run this project locally. So we are saying, oh, okay, so what if we can spin up like a virtual environment for you to be able to contribute to this project? A machine should not be the reason why you're not contributing to open source, right? So, and we've worked on that feature. We are still testing it out. We've given some people access to it. I think Ayo, I don't know if Ayo is still here. I think Ayo and some other people might have access to that feature, and then we are still testing it out to know how good it's working. But what basically we're doing is spinning up like virtual environment for you to run any particular project, open source project. And now you can even contribute to that project online without even having to do the pull, put it on your machine and everything. So everything is virtually, and you're doing everything virtually online, virtual machine running it online. So yeah, we're working on that. That feature will be out for the public by next week, probably this weekend. By Friday, it should be out for everybody to use. Then we also figured out some people contributing to open source. So we had this thing that we do where we have people that don't know. So people want to learn, but they don't know how to go about the learning. So we build this amazing tool. We called it 80/20 rule. So this 80/20 tool is supposed to help you to learn new skill very fast. So just look at it this way. Imagine that an AI is helping you to create a course. That is what we are building. So let's say, for instance, I'm a community manager. You can say, "Oh, I am a community manager managing community for open source contributors. Can you help me learn JavaScript so that I can contribute to open source easily?" It's going to help you learn. So now this is the trick. I already know community, and I already know I'm already been working for developers. So this copilot, this AI is going to help me create a course based on what I already know, right? So if a JavaScript developer and you're trying to learn TypeScript, if you are a Python developer and you're trying to learn maybe JavaScript, or you're trying to, okay, you're already a Python developer, but want to learn how Python works for AI, how to use Python to build AI products, right? So this 80/20 tool that we've built, the AI is going to help you generate a course. Now, inside that course, it's going to populate it with resources. It's going to populate it with video resources, with article resources, and then all you need to do is just like it's going to create a course for you. Like I wish I can just give out the better link here so that everybody here can try it out, man. Because it's I've tried it out. I've even used it to create a community management course for myself, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Maybe I will send the link to some. So if you want access to the beta, maybe you should reach out to me in our community on Discord. Just send me a message on Discord, and I will send it to you. Or maybe send a DM to our Twitter handle, and I will also like maybe try to give you access to the beta. So we don't just give out the link because it's not fully ready yet. So yeah, these are the two amazing features that we are launching next week, and I really want each and every one of you to check it out. So go to tublian.com and start using the tools that are already there to contribute to open source, and then also we'll be giving out some special perks to already we already have like a lot of people on the platforms already, so we're giving out free access to some people by next week for our current users already, so you might not want to miss that. So you guys should quickly like check out tublian.com, create an account, and use the tool, right? So I don't know, is there someone have a question? Does someone have a question? I thought I saw someone raise their hand some time ago. All right, thank you very much. Oh, Ruth already left the call. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. Yes, all these tools are on Tublian, and I am going to share the link to join the community now. So the link to join the community is here. So I just share the community link on, on the chat box, so you can just join the community from there. So thank you everyone for coming out. Thank you Washu. Thank you Eniola. Thank you Rofora. Thank you Okudili. Before we go, can we just drop our favorite emojis? confetti, thumbs up, love. Thank you everyone for coming out. I really appreciate join our community. Um, use Tublian, just use the tool. And if you have any issues at all, anything at all, just reach out to me in the community. I'm the community manager. I'm always in the community, saying one or two things. So guys, thank you very much for coming out today. Really appreciate. This session was recorded and is going to be uploaded on YouTube in case if you want to come back and hear some things that you missed out. And then yeah, so sorry about the disruptions at the early time. Thank you everyone for coming out. Bye bye. Yeah, yeah, thank you everyone. Bye bye.